Hello everybody, thank you for visiting my channel. Today we are going to talk about the pros and the cons of teaching here in the US. So if you are somebody who is considering to be a teacher in the US, I suggest that you watch this video from beginning to end. If you have not subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so. And please give me some love, share this video, comment, like the video if you want. First pro would be salary. Well, obviously I'm comparing with the salary of public school teachers in the Philippines and in here. Unfortunately, I was not able to do any research about salary in other states. I can only talk about the salary here in Florida, where I am teaching, and I'm on my 5th year here. Recently, they raised the entry salary here in Florida. So if you are a new teacher, newly grad, for instance, no teaching experience yet, but you have teaching license, your annual salary is $47,000 US, and that's what's going to be divided by 10 months because we only work for 10 months here. We don't work during summer, but there are summer class opportunities in schools as well. If you're lucky, you can be given a load. So yeah, I just want to make sure that it is clear that it's for the entry level, but if you have more teaching experience relevant to your course, and if you have master's degree, PhD, then you will earn more. And also another disclaimer, you can apply as teacher here as a newly grad if you are from here, but if you are coming here on a J1 visa like me, the minimum requirement is 2 years of teaching experience. Another pro, especially if you are a fashionista, I'm not a fashionista, I'm just, wearing what's comfortable and is according to my style. And I'm also what's my style? Boring. No, modest. I want to be modest. So you will like it here because teachers are not required to dress a certain way except just to be decent, correct? If you want to come here with your hair pink because you like pink or green or orange, whatever you like, that's fine. Some have tattoos, it's fine. Some would wear sleeveless. So you know how it is in the Philippines, you have your uniform, and there are certain types of shoes that will go with that uniform, but here you can be comfortable. Like for instance, if you don't mind, so I'll show you my shoes. This has been the kind of shoe I've been wearing since discovering it's Skechers, really comfortable. So when it's worn out, I would just buy a replacement, but it's the same style, same color. So I'm safe in terms of styling myself, but I don't care. I'm comfortable with that. So that's one of the pros. You will not be judged based off of how you dress up, how you express yourself fashion-wise. Just again, come to school decent. Another con would be technology. In the Philippines, we always dream of having computers for each kid, internet access that's efficient, that's fast, that's free, we don't have to pay, the government is paying for it, and then access to online tools, subscriptions, apps, software. We have those here in our district. I'm not really sure with other districts or other states, but based on my experience here, we have access to these wonderful things that a teacher could use. So I can make my classes interactive digitally. Obviously, we still have those traditional stuff that teachers could use. Because there is less human intervention in the grading of assignments and recording the grades of the students, you can be assured that it is more accurate. And also, the students cannot lie about turning in work when they really have not turned in any work, because the work will be time-stamped in that online tool for doing assignments. So in our district, we're using Canvas. That's where you create assignments to be graded, and it is going to be synchronizing with Skyward, which is our grading system, kind of. Another pro will be exposure to the American culture. Coming in here, I brought with me lots of misconceptions, because what do I know about the US? The US students, US colleagues, they're only based on films, on movies, and I realized that they're just movies as usual. They're not accurate depiction of how kids are. Most of them are misconceptions. So it is nice to have my perspective widened, and I am so grateful that I had this opportunity to learn about the culture and work with American colleagues who are very objective. There's no politics. Just don't get involved with, those things at work. But I really don't, see that in my experience here. So it is nice. You can focus on your work, and collaboration here is highly encouraged. So we have the PLC. PLC is a meeting that you do with your colleague that's teaching the same subject. Also, there are so many long breaks here, like 1 week break, 2 weeks. So one of those 1 week break will be the Thanksgiving break, and we also have the winter break, that's 2 weeks. Thanksgiving break, I already mentioned that. Spring break is also a week, so most teachers would take this opportunity to explore the United States. We would go with our friends, because when you go with friends, it helps with, the cost, because you are dividing it among yourselves, and road trips will be really, really fun. I would say that our road trips have been one of those that I will forever treasure. So I've been to the places that I used to only see in books. So this is a really nice opportunity to explore a big country. Okay, one of the things that we hope we also have in the Philippines will be a nice size of classroom where students are not cramped. So the biggest class that I have is 29 students, but that's on paper only. I have not had any day where all of the 29 students were here. So some of them would be absent, some of them I haven't really seen from the beginning till, up to this time. And tomorrow is the graduation already. So anyway, so we have enough space, it's air conditioned, there's enough lighting, we have a smart board in front. I have lots of storage, and also in my school, I'm really, fortunate that classrooms here have its own office space and storage. It's really easy to be organized and clean and neat in the classroom and do activities that's going to require lots of space, because you can move around, you can arrange a desk however you like, and there's a good sound system as well that's hooked up in here. So if you are going to do any movie watching or whatever, they are ready anytime. Another pro, especially I remember this because we are at that time of the year where we have to prepare the classroom for the next school year. So we clean up, we complete clearance, right? In the Philippines, it's another annoying thing, because some people who need to sign, they want to be treated like VIPs. It's so hard to look for them, to find them. Here, it's a pro, because the people who need to sign, they want it to be as fast, as efficient, as simple as possible. So they will not make it difficult for teachers to complete their paperwork. So like for instance, for us yearly, they would assign like a day and they would place like in the school, they have this place where everyone who needs to sign the papers are there. So you don't have to go from this office to the next office, blah, blah, blah. So that's a pro, definitely. This one can be a pro or a con depending on your preference, but personally this is a pro for me, because I do not like practicing kids for presentations, for instance like doing foundation day or whatever, because I do not like doing things that are repeating, periodic. You have to do it again and again and again, and students are not necessarily very cooperative during this time, so it's just adding to the stress. And in most instances, not that I'm being materialistic, but because they're spending so much time for that, I think we should be paid for it. But in the Philippines, we're not paid to do those extra work. So this is definitely a pro for me. The, extracurricular activities did not be something that the teacher would be spearheading. But if you are a club sponsor, for instance, which is optional, so if you sign up for it, then I'm sure you want to do those things, right? So all extracurricular activities here are done after school hours. So students will be 7:20 to 2:20. Teachers will be 7:10 to 2:40. And all extracurricular activities are after school. So if the students would like to participate, to watch those activities, well, they come back here to school. And so yeah, so all of the school hours will be spent for doing academic activities only, so lessons. We don't have to decorate stage, you know, during graduation and recognition day. It's done for us by somebody. I do not know really who's decorating the stage during graduation. So for our school, we always have the graduation at the Amway Center where the NBA games are held. So yeah, that's one of the pros, because I remember back in the Philippines, we have to put all the flowers. We spend so much time decorating the stage. And if you're assigned as the chairman of the decoration committee, it's going to be a lot of work. You see, in the Philippines, if you want to attend like a seminar, you have to pay for it. Or if the school has funding, then they can pay for it. But, you know, in here, when you attend seminars, they're called professional development trainings, blah, blah, blah. The teachers will be paid per hour. So for instance, this summer, they already have a lineup of summer PDs, and an hour is $22. So if you signed up for those trainings, you will learn a lot of things and earn some too. As for the cons, so one of the cons would be, especially if you are somebody who's really close to your family and friends, and it's your first time to be away, and it's really away because you are time zone away. We are, by the way, 12 hours in terms of the time difference. Is right now, well, I'm doing this video, it's 11:16 a.m. Monday, so it's 11:16 p.m. Monday there in the Philippines. But anyway, going back to that, so it could be difficult for someone who's really close to their friends and families, for those who are first time to be away from their families. For me, it's not really an issue, but the good news about that is, you know, you get used to it. And some of you might even end up enjoying, you know, being on your own here, because you have, you know, independence is nice, freedom is nice, especially if you drive, because I don't drive here, so I'm kind of, in that sense, I'm dependent. Next con, especially if you are a wife, there is no paid leave here, maternity leave. So if you don't have if you did not save a sick leave balance, then when you're maternity leave, you don't have any salary. For instance, when I gave birth to Sam, I had 2 pay stubs blank. Okay, so you really have to, you know, prepare for eventualities like that. Another con, which is related to that, so we don't have paid maternity leave here, and also we can only have like 10 sick leave days, but it accumulates. If you don't use all of them, it will add up to your sick leave days balance for the next year. Some of the teachers here have already, you know, accumulated 300 hours, which is nice. I salute them for, you know, being able to do that, not using their leave, because, you know, most of the leave that I use because I needed mental health break. One of the biggest cons, if I don't mention it, then this whole video is a farce, I would say. Okay, the biggest con that's going to make every new teacher question their decision to coming here is student discipline. Well, there's culture shock already in the first place, and that culture shock has a lot of sides to it. So the students here are completely different than the students that we have in the Philippines, but there is a solution to it. So you don't cry, you don't feel bad, you don't get hurt, your bangs will not hurt each time. And this is the thing. The earlier you accept and realize that it's not personal, it's not about you all the time, then it's better for you. And you will not have, you know, broken heart anymore every day after your last period, because you know the tendency for Filipino teachers is to feel bad every time a student acts a certain way. We would usually think, oh, this kid does not like me, this kid is disrespecting me, blah blah blah. But if we think about it and then consider it, maybe it's just because they are raised differently. It's an entirely different culture, so we don't expect these kids to act like, you know, Filipino kids. Like for instance, in our country, when we are talking to someone older than us or someone with position, especially our teacher, we even have words to put in our sentences to make our sentence, you know, respectful. When we have conversation with someone older or position or a teacher, for instance, we use po, opo, ho, right? But here, obviously, they don't have that. It's not that they are disrespectful, it's just that it's not really part of their conversation. It's not even part of the culture that they have. So we should get used to it and be open-minded about it. And so that's one of the things that it is very important for us to learn as early as possible. Eventually, I'm going to create a video about all of those things that I have learned from my colleagues, from attending all those professional development centers and trainings, and you know, things that I have tried myself and I can say that truly worked in regards to dealing with student discipline problems. So definitely watch out for that. Thank you for watching today's video about the pros and cons of teaching here in the US. I hope you have learned things, and I hope the cons did not scare you, because honestly, we always face those problems wherever we are. They just probably would look different and feel different for us because of, you know, our personal preference and the culture that we're used to. But the good thing about them is there are ways in order to deal with them and for us to rise above these challenges.